Friday Night Lights Live, proudly sponsored by Community First Credit Union. Eels and Tronvold Law Offices. Rainer Garage Doors of Cedar Rapids. And Waln Collision Center in Fairfax. This is a presentation of KCRG TV9 Sports. It's Friday Night Lights Live, only on KCRG 9.2.
Good evening from Kingston Stadium, everybody. It's the 9th and final week of the regular season in Iowa high school football. Got a 4A district matchup today, Kennedy and Burlington. I'm KCRG's Mike O'Brien, joined as always by Sweet Lou Montgomery. Lou, thanks again for joining us tonight. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It should have been an exciting football game tonight. You got a great atmosphere right now for football. A great night. Should be a dandy.
Not too cold for you, are you?
No, you know me, man. I'm not used to those cold nights, but I can deal with it tonight.
Let's talk about a little bit about this matchup. Burlington coming into Kennedy's home turf here at Kingston Stadium, 1-7. Kennedy, on the other hand, 7-1. They've wrapped up Metro champions. They've racked up district champions. Now they're trying to go for a state championship. Not a whole lot to play for tonight, but still, you don't want to get into bad habits with playoffs coming next week.
Yeah, this is going to be a good test for Kennedy, really just to kind of rest some of their players, but ultimately get ready for that next stage, you know. And ultimately, you never know. This Burlington teams can surprise you. So I wouldn't lay my laurels too early into this ball game, but we'll just have to see how it comes out.
Well, Burlington, they jumped classes this year, switching conferences, and even though they only have one win on the season, so again, you're playing for pride tonight. But boy, how much pride would you get if you were to take down your district champion the last game of the season going into next? They still have a lot to play for tonight.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, this is a pride game for them. You know, they hadn't had a really good season. Obviously, like you said, they bumped up to the next level. But more importantly, you know, if they can go out on a win if they can go out on a win tonight, this will be huge for their program.
All right, well, we'll see you later in the booth. Kennedy trying to advance to 8-1. Burlington looking for their second win of the season. Greyhounds and Cougars, that's coming up next on KCRG 9.2 and Cozy TV 6.3. Welcome back to Kingston Stadium. The scoreboard reads 3 minutes, 40 seconds until we get underway here in the 4A District 5 battle between Kennedy and Burlington. Beautiful Thursday evening here, 80 degrees, warm, sunny. Well, that's maybe the case in Florida. Man, it'd be nice to live in Florida, wouldn't it, Lou?
Yeah, it
you
sure
grew
would.
up in Iowa. You're sick of this, aren't you? I'm sick of this. It's cold.
Man, this is just perfect weather right here, man. You got to get the fall weather, you know, and good night for football.
Well, it's cold now. It'll be colder later, but for more specifics, let's go to meteorologist Joe Winters for a look at what we can expect for weather throughout the rest of this game.
If you ordered a night for football in October, I think you might pick this one. The weather's absolutely perfect. There's very little wind, if at all. Skies remain clear and temperatures cool, but it is later October. Take a look at our first alert forecast for Friday Night Lights Thursday edition. Temperatures drop from the upper 30s at kickoff down to the mid-30s as we head toward 10 o'clock. But again, no threat of precipitation and no wind to worry about. Should be a fairly comfortable October night. Mike and Lou, back to you.
I don't know what he's talking about. I have very, very different definition of perfect than Joe Winters does, and, you know, his last name says it all there. Mid-30s, not so bad, but it's football weather. Lo, you're used to this. You played in this kind of weather, especially when we got two teams who like to run the ball as much as they do. Be a good game for them.
Yeah, it really is, and this is the kind of weather, I mean, from a running perspective and a passing perspective that you want. I mean, you know, the ball gets a little bit it gets kind of frosty and cold on you, man. You get those hits that take you. So it's going to be important tonight that both teams hold on to the football, but with no wind, should be a nice passing attack available too.
And you see the Cougars coming out onto the field here at Kingston Stadium. The Greyhounds are out of the tunnel as well. We are just moments away from live high school football here at Kingston Stadium. We're going to take a short break, and after that, we've got football coming. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2 and Cozy 6.3, brought to you by Community First Credit Union. clock reads 12 minutes. Both teams' captains are back on their sideline after the coin toss. Kennedy's going to receive to start this game, and on your television screen, they'll be moving from left to right here in the first quarter. And if you're wondering, why don't you see a number 21 on Kennedy? That's their star running back, Caron Hendred. Don't worry, it's just a precaution. He is not playing tonight. He's in a sweatshirt on the sideline. He's nursing an ankle injury. And again, Lou, we've talked about it already kind of in the pregame. 7-1, you've clinched basically everything you can going into the playoffs. It's a smart move, pretty easy decision to just kind of sit him out this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's a vital part of this offense. You know, this team in general. He's one of the field generals that's really one of the reasons why they're in the position that they're in, being 7-1. So this is the type of game that you want to sit him out, give him a little bit of rest, get him healed for the playoffs coming up in a few weeks.
Hendred on the year, 1,032 yards, 13 touchdowns, and he's known for breaking them loose. His longest touchdown of the year is 74, but back to return the kick and also to assume running back duties for the Cougars is Brantley Koski, as this kick is pooched short. Picked up by Koski, and now we see what he can do. Brings it out to the 25-yard line. That will be where the Cougars start their first drive of the game. Koski, even though maybe he's second on the depth chart as running back, he'd be a first stringer for a whole lot of teams. 500 yards on the season, long of 80, but that average, 19.2 yards per carry. He doesn't get handoffs a lot, but when he does, he knows how to use them. We're going to see why here tonight.
Yeah, he really does, and he's able to pick up a lot of real estate, you know, in a short amount of time. He's a quick guy, and we'll see him running the football quite a bit tonight.
Max White under center, and this first run's going to be a quarterback sneak. Max White keeping it, gains about maybe 3 yards. Max White, the quarterback, but he's also second on the team in rushing yards because this team just loves to run the ball over and over again. 716 yards on the season for the quarterback, Max White. Struggled throwing the ball a lot last year, and it was one of the key things he wanted to work on in the offseason with his dad, who's a head coach. That's Brian White. And so far, so good throwing the ball as often as they do. 65% completion percentage for Max White, who's going to drop back and pass, finds Koski to his left, who shakes the first tackle. He's right at the first down marker. It will be first down Cougars, gain of about 7.
Yeah, nice move there. We got an injured player on the field right now, but yeah, on these cold nights, I mean, this is
well, we saw it a couple weeks ago, that Cedar Falls Jeff game. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen as many injuries, and we had that. And that was that first cold game of the night. We're not sure exactly what you can do. You know, it's people talk about how much you got to prepare, you know, physically for these hot games. You know, you don't want to cramp up and everything. The same goes for cold games. It's a different kind of preparation, you know, as an athlete.
Yeah.
What do you do when it's cold like this to get yourself ready?
Well, first of all, you got to stay warmed up. You know, you got to do a lot of stretching. Those muscles get tight, and you got to stay loose. Even on the sideline in between series, or if you're on offense, you come to the sideline. You know, you see a lot of guys riding the stationary bikes just to keep those muscles loose. Obviously, stay warm, keep those muscles warm, and you should be fine.
Injured for the Greyhounds, that was number 1, Ian Taylor, cornerback. As he walks off the field with a little assistance, looks like he's okay. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 36 for the Cougars. It's still their first possession. Have a lot of unique backfield formations for the Cougars. Hand off to Koski. Gets positive yardage nearly every single time he carries the ball. That one goes for 5.
Yeah, Koski, number 7, gets in behind that big offensive line. They've done a really nice job this year, this Kennedy offense. Firing off the ball, getting man on man.
Now in the power I formation, White takes snap, hand off to Koski, and just looking to break 2 tackles right at the line of scrimmage. Gets across the first down marker. Again, a gain of 6, first down Cougars. When you have the skill caliber that you have in that backfield between Caron Hendred, Brantley Koski, and Max White, it's easier to make big plays, but it all starts up front with that offensive line. 2 Division I commitments on that offensive line. Both of the one is the tackle, right tackle Connor Colby. He committed to Iowa this past summer, and then you have Nolan Jacobs, the left guard. He's headed to FCS Power, North Dakota State. Colby's at 280, Jacobs at 250 as White fumbles the snap, recovers, but that'll be a loss of about 13 yards.
Yeah.
He's second and long for Kennedy.
Yeah, nice defensive stop there by Burlington. That's the kind of momentum you need. I mean, I fully did. I mean, I didn't expect them to come in here and, I guess for me, I didn't expect them to come in here and just lay down and let Kennedy run all over them. These guys are going to fight, and they're going to bring everything they can. This will be a big win for them if they can get it.
There's a handoff to Cade Parker, who's the second running back tonight. Normally they run 2 running back set, if not 3 running back set. You saw what that formation was. I don't even know what to call that formation where you have 2 guys on there to the left. Cade Parker, not normally a running back, but certainly capable of the job. 128 yards on the season. We'll say Parker's name a lot tonight, not just for carrying the ball, but he's also their star middle linebacker. Headed to the University of South Dakota. Got talent all over this Kennedy roster. 3rd and 17, White from the gun. Expect a throw here, and that's what we'll see. Drops back, but whistle on the field. Don't see a flag.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Didn't see a flag or any kind of indication that a delay of game. Wasn't actually looking at the game clock.
Dead ball, false start number 8 on the offense. Repeat, 3rd down.
That's on tight end Cody Fluhop.
Yeah.
Moving back 5 more yards. 3rd and 22. And like you mentioned, we didn't expect Burlington to just come in and lay down. And, hey, you forced a 3rd and long.
Yeah.
Kennedy scored the 4th most points in all of Class 4A. You hold them here on the first drive, it's a
big
momentum
win.
swing.
And that's what Burlington wants. I mean, this is one of those games where you need to have a few small wins in order to appreciate the big wins.
Screen pass goes to Parker. Shakes his first guy off. Tackled from behind. No, still staying up. Just gets about 2.5 yards short of the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 4th and 12. And the punt unit comes out.
Well, that's a nice stop there by Burlington, stopping this offense. Obviously, you don't have some of your key players, in the game for Kennedy, but more importantly, you're going against different competition, and they were able to hold up.
Punting was Austin Vandersea for Kennedy, brought it to about the 20-yard line. Recovered cleanly. Nice return there from Burlington's Trey King Jr., another running back. As we take a look at the Burlington offense, again, Trey King Jr. will be back there in the backfield along with Bryant Williams. When you're looking at star power for the Greyhounds, those are the 2 names you start with. King Jr., just under 500 rushing yards on the season, goes with 4 touchdowns. Bryant Williams, the other running back, 505 yards rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns on the season, also just over $150 receiving yards. Quarterback's Brock Dengler, 6-foot sophomore. It's the first snap. It's a handoff, and it's met immediately from the linebacker crew of the Cougars.
Yep.
There's Cade Parker. I just said I'd say his name a lot on defense. First snap, there he is.
Yeah, there's that Cougar defense that that's really got them to where they are this year so far, and it's just pressure. They bring pressure. They do a nice job of getting off of blocks, and I was able to get a big stop right there.
Cougars run an interesting defensive formation. They got 3 down linemen. They list about, on their depth chart, 3 linebackers and then 2 or 3 hybrid positions that kind of just mingle. And again, there's Parker. Tackle for loss behind the line of scrimmage. That's now 12 on the season for Parker.
Yeah, another thing that Kennedy does really well, they got a lot of football players on their squad, on their roster. So they have the capability of platooning their players. You see a lot of teams that don't have a deep roster. A lot of guys are having to play both ways. The fourth quarter catches up to them because they get tired. So nice job of keeping their guys fresh.
Two backs in the backfield with Dengler in the gun. Whistle blows this one dead. Maybe some movement up front. It was 3rd and 11 for Burlington.
It's like that was a delayed game penalty there on Burlington.
And it'll back this one up to 3rd and 16 now from their own 24. About halfway through the first quarter here. Kennedy's had one possession. This is Burlington's first. You know, their record doesn't look very good, obviously. 0-4 in district play, 1-7 overall. They're still averaging 20.4 points per game. So they're capable of putting up points, but when you jump conferences and you jump classes like they did, that first year is always tough.
Yeah.
And Kennedy, as much as we're going to talk about their offense this year, their defense is just one of the most overlooked defenses in the state. 14.8 points per game from that veteran crew.
Yeah.
With the stuff there, no gain. It'll be 4th and 16. Cougars will get the ball back.
Well, and what they do so well is they funnel a lot of those tackles right into those aggressive linebackers. Those linebackers are able to run sideline to sideline, and they're able to come in and make tackles.
Punt is away for Burlington, and it's a short one. Does not get back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be about a net of 1 yard.
Looks a lot like my golf game there coming off the tee box.
You ever hit one just right behind you? I've done that. Just pop straight up. So much backspin, it rolled behind me. I quit the game forever. Never played since.
I barely get past the women's tee box, and all my buddies are always teasing me about that. So, to me, I got a stationary ball. I got a big club, and to me, all I see is a Michigan linebacker. So I feel like I got to swing it as hard as I can. Doesn't work.
1st and 10 from the Greyhound 26. Handoff goes to Koski, gain of about 3.
Koski, the ball carrier.
2nd and 6, 2nd and 7 for the Cougars, who will welcome the field position they were just handed from that punt. Punt looked like it was from Carlo Martinez-Hale, not their normal starting punter.
Yeah, and what they did is, now you've given Kennedy great field position.
They kind of split punting duties. That was Martinez-Hale's 11th punt of the season. He averages 26.6. That one, I think, net was about 1 yard as White finds an open receiver. It's Cody Fluhop, tight end, for the first down, and inside the 10-yard line is Kennedy, ready to strike.
And they're getting a lot of players in and out of the football game. It's a great opportunity for them to kind of test that rotation, test different schemes, things of that nature.
With that catch, Fluhop now extremely close to 100 yards receiving on the air, came in with 85. As White takes it off to the left, and there's your opening touchdown, 9 yards away for quarterback Max White. 6-0 Cougars lead. You got to credit that drive, you would think, to the field position. Obviously, they moved the ball, but when you start on the 26, it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, and White done a phenomenal job there of just figuring out where that crease was and that hole, and was able to get in there, dip and dive, and right into the end zone.
Max White's 12th touchdown of the season, as Liam Wadden is now on for the point after. He's a perfect 39 of 39 on the year. There's number 40. It's a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. Still 4 minutes and 6 seconds left. Kennedy over Burlington. We're going to take a short break. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2 and Cozy TV 6.3. Brought to you by Community First Credit Union. Kennedy with a squib kick following the touchdown. Looked there for a moment. It was going to go out of bounds, but it was perfectly placed right at the 20 and then returned to about the 23-yard line from kicker Liam Waugh.
Yeah, not sure why that up guy didn't try to pick that one up a little bit quicker.
I think he thought the same as me. I think maybe let it roll out of bounds. You get an extra 10 yards out of it, and then it just kind of stayed put. Well, second drive here coming up for Dengler and the Greyhound offense. 3 plays in their first drive, all of them going backwards. Lined up in a pistol formation, 2 backs behind Dengler, takes a snap, handoff up the middle, met at the line of scrimmage by a swarm of Cougar defenders.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm Burlington right now, if I'm going to get a lot of yards on the ground against this stout Cougar defense. I think if I'm going to try to test you a few times, I want to maybe put it in the air and make those corners and linebackers play you honest.
Dengler with just under 600 yards passing on the season, 6 touchdowns to go along with 6 interceptions. Again, similar to Kennedy, they've got some unique formations in the backfield, and they love to run the ball. Another handoff up the middle. Again, stuffed at the line. Looked like Cale Knox was in there first, along with Nolan Jacobs on the line for Kennedy.
Yeah, that was a big hit there right in the center.
Three-man defensive line for Kennedy. You're looking at 6'1", 5'11", 6'3", 210 pounds, 215 pounds, 250 pounds is the D1 commit, Nolan Jacobs. But you do have some size on that Burlington offensive line. So I'm looking from right to left, 230, 305, 240, 285, 260. So, yeah, if I had that in front of me, I'd like to run the ball as well as that. Running back looked like he was tripped up. Is that Parker again? It looked like maybe a shoestring tackle. That's actually Jay Osendorp. It'll be 4th down and long, and the punt unit will come out again for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Trey King Jr., 5'10", 180 pounds. He's the type of guy you don't want to get out on the perimeter if you're Kennedy. That guy can really run.
That looks like a different punter back there for number 2. It's Gage Webster. This ball goes out at about the 41-yard line. Better than the first punt.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, and the special teams is going to play an important part tonight as well. And like I said, it's getting temperatures dropping down a little bit already. And, you know, protecting that football is going to be so critical.
And back comes out Max White after scoring his 9-yard touchdown run to get it 7-0. This time it's a handoff to Cade Parker to the right, and he's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. First tackled there from Charlie Carlson for Burlington. Again, the key focus for this Kennedy offense, just score, and they weren't afraid to say score and let's get our guys out early.
Yeah.
They got playoffs starting. One of the hottest teams going into the playoffs. Certainly don't want to sustain any injuries in this kind of a game, but you also don't want to run into any bad habits as well.
Yeah. And these guys, I mean, even some of the scout team players, they earned an opportunity to come out and compete as well. And, yeah, you don't have your ones in there per se right now, but some of the younger guys, give them some game experience. This is a good thing.
3rd and 6. Quarterback Max White in the shotgun with Parker to his right. White takes the snap. And he's going deep, looking for Koski. Throw just a little bit too long. Not afraid to try and fit in that window, even with Koski looking like he was double teamed there, but as has been proven in the past couple weeks, Koski can go up about just over anybody, come down with a catch. Kennedy looking for their 6th win in a row. And you look at some of the opponents that's up against, it's impressive. That Bettendorf game a couple weeks ago, a huge momentum booster for this Kennedy team that's now ranked 5th in state. 4th and 6. Cougars electing to go for it. Kennedy back in the gun. White going to move up into the pocket. moves to his left now. He's got the first down. Good blocking on the side. White lowers the shoulder. Big hit far side. White's down at about the 23-yard line.
White, the ball carrier, pushed out of bounds by number
A gain of about 14 yards.
Good enough for a Cougar first
Yeah,
down.
nice run there by White, just getting out on the perimeter. Came up a little gimpy, though. I think he's okay.
Ben Kennedy on the
I'm feeling head coach and father Brian is, you know what, maybe just go out of bounds.
Yeah.
Got to lower your shoulder? No. Just
No,
maybe go out of
don't do that.
First and 10 from the 23, 7-0 lead for Kennedy. This will be the last play of the first quarter. Switching gears to the left after breaking the first tackle was White. Gain of about 6, and that will end the first quarter. The Kennedy Cougars up ahead of the Burlington Greyhounds, 7-0. Second quarter action coming up next. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3, brought to you by our sponsor, Community First Credit Union. A 19-yard touchdown run from Brantley Koski. I apologize to y'all. Our producer's probably angry at me. I went to break too late, and then we missed a touchdown. But Koski from 19 yards away doubles the Kennedy lead. End around handoff. He basically went untouched.
Yeah, just a jet sweep around the corner there. You see the speed that he's able to produce, get around that corner and into the end zone.
It's Koski's 6th rushing touchdown of the year. Has perfect 41 for 41 on the year of PATs for Liam Wahe, and the lead is now 14-0. Burlington will try and respond when we come back after this quick break. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3. No Karon Hendred, no problems so far for the Kennedy Cougars. Running all over Burlington in this first half. 14-0, 2 rushing touchdowns have made it a 14-0 game. 9 yards from quarterback Max White, 19 yards out for Brantley Koski. And now Liam Waugh will kick it off, and Burlington will have their third possession of the game. Another squib kick here, and it's picked up at about the 32-yard line and then gang tackled. But forward progress will allow the Greyhounds to start this drive on their own 36.
Yeah, I'm not certain what's going on with the swimming kick back and forth. But the Greyhounds got good field position. Ball's on about the 37-yard line.
I mean, Liam Waugh, the kicker, he's got a leg. He's had 3 touchbacks this season. It's clearly just part of their game plan, part of their strategy is to not let Trey King Jr., that return guy, touch the ball. Dangler, the pitch out to his left. Positive yardage for the Greyhounds as the run from Brian Williams gains about 2.
Yeah, I think that's probably the philosophy I'd go with offensively if I'm Burlington. I'd want to get out on the perimeter, get my fast guys out there one-on-one in space and let them do what they can do. Okay, you try to run up through this tough Cougar defense right up the gut. It's just not going to happen. Those guys are too stout, and they're getting too much pressure. Try to keep it out on the perimeter.
2nd and 8, ball's marked at the 40. Will be a quarterback keeper. That's not Dangler. That's DJ Pugh taking the snap. DJ Pugh's that second quarterback, doesn't pass the ball a lot, but he does share enough time in the backfield that Kennedy was certainly aware of his ability. And on a phone call with head coach Brian White, he knows when Pugh's in the backfield, there's almost a 100% certainty that the Greyhounds are going to run the ball as they did there. Pugh's only completed 1 pass, attempting 3 on the season. And when Dangler comes back in, you know they're a little more multi-dimensional.
Yep.
Does look like Pugh again, taking snaps. 1st and 10. Pugh runs to the left, tackled at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I mean, Pugh's he just gives you that extra running threat at the quarterback position. Basically another running back just standing in those quarterback shoes. So, again, Burlington is really trying to run up the gut, right up the middle of that Cougar defense. It's just going to be tough to do tonight, Mike.
Well, and those defensive linemen, Cale Knox, Nolan Jacobs, those are tough guys to run against, and the speed of the linebacking crew doesn't make it easy to get to the side. Swarming into the backfield again, it'll be no gain. Cade Parker right there in the thick of things.
Number 25, Brian Williams, the ball carrier. Tackled by number 35, Cade Parker. Brings up third down.
Burlington came into this one averaging 20.5 points per game. Coming off losses to Cedar Rapids Wash, Davenport West, Bettendorf, Davenport Central. Their one win of the season came in week 3 against Clinton, 33-26. 3rd and 10, just about midfield. Pugh takes a snap, holds onto the ball, and he's met in the backfield.
Wow. Big hit there.
It's DB Drew Bartles. Looked like he was first to the quarterback.
Yeah, he turned around with that fake and was met right in the face mask.
It was a nice play action from Pugh. You know,
Oh, yeah.
he did it well, but when you do it like that and when you leave yourself blind to that blind side,
Yeah.
you're hoping that everybody faked, and Bartles did not get faked there at all. 4th and 17. They're going to run a fake, and they're going to complete it. A completion to Bryant Williams for the first down.
Wow, great execution.
And that's the
Great
kind
play
of thing
calling.
that can happen because their punter is quarterback Brock Dengler. So when
Yeah.
he gets the snap there, that's always a threat.
It might be a flag on the play. Let's see what the white cap referee is going to say here.
It's a beautiful play that Kennedy was not
Replay
expecting.
it down. Noblesville's downfield on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
Talk about a kick in the
Wow.
gut. You struggle to move the ball, you catch them napping, and you get a first down on 4th and what was 17
Yeah.
on a
Yep.
fake punt, and you get called for an ineligible receiver downfield. And now you know Kennedy's ready for that fake punt, so you can't really call that back-to-back times.
Yeah. That one's pretty much done with.
Brantley
But I don't
Koski.
know though. I mean, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things. 4th and 20 now. Koski back to return the punt. And this time it's back to Carlo Martinez-Hale back to kick this one away.
Given their punting struggles, Kennedy should end up with fairly decent field position.
It was a much better punt there. Martinez-Hale. Koski's going to let this one roll. Beautifully placed
Yeah,
at about the
nice
26. Nice bounce back effort there from the sophomore. Kennedy will have another possession. Already up 14-0. That will start on the 26-yard line. Just over 8 minutes left to go here in the first half.
It's kind of one of those games here where, you know, Kennedy just wants to establish, run some of their base fundamental offense. Just gives them another opportunity to go against some different competition.
It's White and Parker in the backfield. White motions a man, and he's going to toss to him. That's Mekhi Harris, wide receiver, who looked like he slipped on the turf before being brought down. That'll go for a loss of 3.
Tackled by number 20, Martinez-Hale. Brings up 2nd down and about 13.
Second and 13 now. This time it's Koski in the backfield along with Sham Graham, the fullback. Pitch goes to Koski to the right side. Koski's got a hole. Koski down to the sideline, crosses midfield, cuts back inside. Look at the speed. Brantley Koski, my goodness.
Wow, great run there. We'll see if we can get a replay of that, but what a great touchdown run
The Kennedy touchdown. Penalty
by that young man.
74-yard run from Brantley Koski. I'm not sure if he ever actually got held, but
There is a flag on the play.
the flag's at about the 30-yard line, much past the line of scrimmage.
There's a
And
good
just based
move.
on the reaction for Kennedy, it looks like this one's possibly coming back.
Yeah, nice move there. Basically went untouched.
And I wasn't surprised untouched through the line of scrimmage, but there were DBs collapsing on him, and he still somehow made a miss.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
unbelievable. Let's hear what the call is.
Walking the back on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot. We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike on the bench. Burlington, 15 yards, first down Kennedy.
Wow.
Unsportsmanlike from the bench.
Yeah.
I was expecting when he said that, maybe Kennedy was partying a little too hard and got too far down on the sideline. I was not expecting to see that on Burlington. So the ball looks like it's spotted now at the 25 after all those penalties. Wipe away the touchdown, but still a huge gain.
Well, I think a lot of times what happens is that sideline judge on the opposing team will get an earful from some of the coaches.
That time the handoff to fullback Sham Graham to the left side, brought down about for gaining about a half yard.
Ball carrier for Kennedy, tackled by number 11, Charlie Carlson. Brings up second down and 9.
Kennedy showing no signs of slowing down, no signs of any kind of rust or possible signs of maybe looking ahead of an opponent. They are certainly focused tonight and looking good on offense as White takes this one to the right. Spun around and tackled 2.5 yards short of the first down marker. Be third and short.
By number 11, Carlson. Brings up third down and
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd keep my starting quarterback in there a whole lot. I mean, I
There's
don't
a
know what he
threshold.
thought.
I know after talking to Coach, there's a threshold. They're going to get out at some point. You want to
Okay.
you want to build yourself to comfortable lead where you don't want any kind of possibility to, hey, we got to send them back in the third and fourth quarter now because you know it's maybe a closer game. Maybe 21 is the threshold. Maybe it's 28. I'm not sure, but
I just think with as much as running as he does, there's a big stop there by Burlington.
Parker, the ball carrier.
that looked like Dontarius Bowens there in the backfield, along with Charlie Carlson making the stop for the Greyhounds. The kicking game is nothing to brag about for the Cougars, so on 4th and 4, it looks like they'll elect to go for it.
Yeah, the point that I was going to make was I just think that, you know, it's just so much at risk when you got a quarterback, particularly a running quarterback. I mean, anything is a cold night. You know, anything can happen. You got a big playoff game coming up. I don't know. You're up by 2 touchdowns. You may want to pull it.
So it's the I formation. Handoff goes to Koski. Bounces around to the right. Almost brought down at the line of scrimmage. This one is really close. Looks like the tackle made from Carlson. And it kind of just depends on where the ball is spotted. It looks like at the first spot here, he's just inches short. And that's what our head referee is signaling as well. The Greyhounds get a stop on 4th and 4, doing what I thought was impossible and somehow bringing down Brantley Koski, and it'll be a turnover on downs. 1st and 10 for Burlington. They'll start the drive on their own 16.
Yeah, nice stop there. I mean, they did a nice job. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This defense has shown signs periodically throughout the season that where they play very well. And then there's other times when they just doesn't. And, you know, that's been their Achilles heel up to this point. But this is a young football team.
Dangler with the back to each side. It's going to hand this one up off the middle. Be a gain of 1. Looked like the handoff there went to King.
For 22, Tempest Jr. was the ball carrier for the Greyhounds.
Again, this is our last Thursday night broadcast of the year, with it being the final week of the regular season. You can also be sure to tune in tomorrow night for our last football broadcast of the season. Iowa City West against Iowa City High, the battle for the boot. You can catch the game right here on KCRG 9.2, KCRG.com. The full football schedule, go to KCRG.com, 9.2. Lou, you'll be calling that game. That's always fun, rivalry like that.
Yeah, it is. Every year, it's usually a fun rivalry. And looking forward to getting down to Iowa City and seeing who earns the bragging rights for another year.
Well, both of those teams out of the playoff picture, so you know they're going to be going hard.
Yeah.
And that's that last victory. It's that trophy game, that
Yeah.
golden boot. That's going to be a good one.
And what's fun about it is the fans and the students and just the Iowa City community in general really rallies around both of their high school programs. So should be a fun one tomorrow.
Again, if you missed the game live, be sure to tune in to KCRG's Friday Night Lights End Zone for all the coverage there. You can starts at 10:30. Fumble in the backfield, nicely recovered from Trey King Jr. He'll still go for a loss of about 6 yards. Looks like Dangler was trying to run the option there, and the pitch to King didn't go as planned. 4th and long. And Kennedy's going to look to maybe get an extra 7 points here before halftime. 4 minutes left in the second quarter. As it's Gage Webster going to punt from his own end zone. Koski back to return the punt. Webster takes a snap, drops it for a second, and then gets the ball away. Bounces at about the 30-yard line, and that's where the Kennedy drive will start.
Yeah, if I'm Burlington right now, I mean, I got to get my punting game and kicking game together. I mean, those are kinds of things that, you know, you give the opposing team field position every single time with your special teams. Might be an opportunity for you to maybe work on some things next week in practice.
It's often the most overlooked unit. Special teams, certainly important. Max White under center. The drop back to pass this time. But instead he elects to run, trying to scramble through the middle, brought down on the line. Flag is down. The tackle was made from Webster, who you saw was just the punter. Well, he's also their defensive end. Let's see what the flag's all about. Came in late, kind of by the tackle.
Yeah, usually.
Holding, 45 on the offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Yeah, I was just going to say there's usually a holding penalty or something like that when that flag comes flying in from that direction. So the ref just beat me to the call. I already had it figured out, Mike.
That's why we keep bringing your back.
That's right, man.
Graham and Koski to the left of White. White's going to run it with the two leading blockers in front of him. Pushed out of bounds at the 22.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I love watching him run the football. The one thing that I don't like, he likes to drop his shoulder. Slide.
You would have thought they would have told him something after we saw
Slide.
that in the first quarter on the opposite side of the field.
I know he's a tough kid. You know, obviously the coach's son and all that good stuff. But we got to teach him how to slide, get out of bounds.
Second and 3 now. White takes a snap again. Will run to the right this time. Cut back to the middle. Down the sideline. 22 yards. Max White, his second rushing touchdown of the game. It started right. Looked like there was some traffic. So, okay, well, I'll just go left then. And he's wide open.
Yeah.
The lead's now 20-0.
Nice job there by Mr. White. Shaking and baking. Showing you what he can do with his legs.
You got to stay tough. See, you know,
Man.
he might. If you had your way, he would have just slid there, right?
If it was my way, he would have gave it to the fullback.
Liam White out for the extra point again to make this a 21-0 game. Snap, the hold, the kick. It's all good. Kennedy's rolling up 21-0 over Burlington, who will try to respond after we take a quick break. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2 and Cozy TV 6.3. Trey King and Bryant Williams back to receive the kickoff, which is again a squib. This one bounces all the way to the 10. It's picked up by King, who goes off running. King past the 20. He's brought down at the 22. Tackle there from Kennedy's Reed Packabeer.
Yeah, nice kickoff coverage there by Kennedy. we'll see if Burlington can put anything together here.
And when you're looking at key moments in this game, what a call that was, the fake punt, to bring that back. I mean, you were down 14-0. You had 4th and long. You get your fake punt to work for a huge gain that would have had you deep into Kennedy's territory, and then it gets brought back on you. You allow the big play from Koski. Even though that got called back, it eventually led for the touchdown. Now you're looking at a 21-0 hole.
Yeah. I think that's a tremendous point there, Mike, is there's opportunities, and the fake punt was classic. I mean, that couldn't have been a better call in my opinion. Just again, you can't beat yourself. Particularly when you're needing to play pretty much mistake-free football against this stout Kennedy offense and defense.
Pugh in the backfield will hand it off and go for a gain of 2 more yards. Looked like that was Williams.
Number 25, Brian Williams, the ball carrier.
And a quick timeout on the field means a quick timeout for us. We're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3. We'll be right back. And we're back with 3rd and 5 for the Greyhounds on their own 30. Pugh in the backfield hands it off to King Jr. Breaks a couple tackles, tries to get loose. Still brought down at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down. And again, Kennedy will elect to take another timeout here to preserve as much time on the clock as they can. Maybe try and punch in yet another one. They did start the game with the ball, so they will be kicking off to start the second half.
Yeah, they're just not getting any interior blocking up front. Obviously, Burlington is at that point now where, you got this defense is flying in there on them, and their running backs just getting hammered just because they're not getting blocking up front.
Not the only football game going on tonight. Another one going on in the Quad Cities in Class 3A. North Scott and Davenport Assumption. That game just getting underway in the second half. North Scott leading 14-0 for anybody who's interested. I know it doesn't happen very often, but we do have a Quad Cities audience tonight, so we thank you all for tuning in on Cozy TV 6.3.
A nice contingency of folks down there, and hopefully they're having a cozy night.
Punting unit back out for Burlington. Again, it's Martinez Hale, who's had 1 good and 1 bad. Here's the third one. Low snap. Almost blocked from Kennedy's Cale Knox, who burst through the line, and this ball will roll and roll to the 33. A second good punt there for Martinez Hale. Man, Cale Knox came close to blocking that one.
Yeah, we'll see what Kennedy has to dial up here on offense. This defense for Burlington has to find a way to stop this offense. They're giving up too many big plays. I mean, we're talking about chunks of yards that they're giving up. So they got to find some pressure, disrupt what's happening in the backfield in order to slow this offense down.
White fakes 2 handoffs and now goes out running. Instead's going to pass over the middle, and it's complete to Jalen Cotton, who stays fighting. A gain of about maybe 17 yards. Looked like White was going to go run, and that brings all the defenders in. Then he just threw it. It's real close to the line of scrimmage there. Hurry up offense now as White spikes the ball at midfield. Have a minute 29 left. That puts Cotton over the 100-yard mark for the season.
Yeah, nice play call there too. Just making sure their players are up there, getting the players up to the line. Everybody knows what's happening. Again, communication. This is what's good. For Kennedy right now is you got to have solid communication and guys who are executing on offense.
3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Running back in the backfield with White. White's going to connect with Koski down on the far side. Koski slips a tackler, gets brought down at the 27. Be another first down that will stop the clock momentarily. Kennedy still with 1 timeout. moving the ball quickly here. Still a minute 20 left. As White's under center and immediately spikes the ball. Although it looked like the whistle was blown before the spike, I believe Burlington might have called a timeout.
Yeah.
Burlington did call a timeout, and we're going to keep it here. 21-0 Kennedy as they're staring 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line.
The Kennedy Fine Arts performers put their skills to the
Going to the Iowa game this Saturday, Lou?
I'm not.
That morning drive over to Evanston?
Not until they get done with their updates to their stadium. I think they got some.
Not a big fan of Ryan Field over there?
I think they're getting ready to do a major renovation over there. But, it's just anymore. I enjoy watching the Hawks on TV. We've gone to plenty of games over the several years, and should be a dandy.
Well, if you miss the game, or if anybody watching misses the game, tune in right here. KCRG 9.2, Monday night for On Iowa Live. Live at 6:30 from Union Station. You can come on out, have a good time, have a drink, have some food, come talk with us, or watch it on TV. Scott Sable, Marvin McNutt, Scott Docterman, the whole game will be talking all things Hawkeyes. As White drops back, rolls out of the pocket, he's brought down and tackled. Nice defensive play there. Looked like it was Martinez Hale, who we've seen punt a couple times this game.
Yeah, Martinez Hale's playing a really nice football game tonight. He was playing on that outside in position. Stayed home. Was able to reach those long arms in there.
Had 8 tackles coming in. 8 tackles on the season coming into this game, and a 9th one there that pushes the Cougars back 10 yards in a huge spot. As White drops back. This time he's going deep. Receiver, and that looked like some early contact and a lot of laundry right at about the 7-yard line. Pass was headed for Cody Fluhop.
Yeah.
And that's a tough one as a defender because that ball may be a tad bit underthrown or at least to the inside of the field, so Fluhop kind of had to adjust, ran into the defender, but that's going to be a flag every time.
Yeah, it's going to be flagged every time, mainly because the
Pass
defensive player didn't look
defense.
back for the football.
Number 1, 15 yards, automatic or first down.
So the nice defensive tackle for loss from Martinez Hale gets wiped out at the very next play from the pass interference that moves them up 15 yardage, but it does help them at least in a battle for time. There's only 34 seconds left, 35 seconds left. And the Cougars still with 1 timeout. As White breaks the huddle. It'll be 2nd and 5, but they're not going for the first down. They're going for the end zone. Parker to White's right. From the gun, White takes it. Over the middle, high throw, incomplete. That was intended for Cotton.
Just a bit too high there. Timing pattern there. Slant right into the middle. A little bit too high.
This could be some important reps here for White throwing the ball. They don't often do it a whole lot, but now you're going to run into situations, close games, where you're going to have to be multidimensional, especially when teams are knowing what you're throwing. And now where you're battling against the clock here, don't really have the luxury of running the ball, so we're going to see him throw it as we do here towards the sideline, and it looked like it was dropped. Ball was where it needed to be, but it was dropped from Isaiah Malley. Be 4th down now, but the Cougars will go for it.
Yeah, and like I said, on a cold night like tonight, they've been running the ball so effectively. We'll see what they dial up here. 25 seconds left on the clock before half.
They need 5 yards for the first down, which will stop the clock. So White rolls out. He's going to go running, cuts back to the inside, makes a man miss, cuts back even more. Tripped up and down at the 15-yard line. It's a first down. So the clock stops. Everybody's rushing back to the line of scrimmage. 17 seconds left remaining in the first half. White's back under center. Clock's running, and the ball is snapped. 11.4 left. Another nice run there for White, keeping this drive alive.
Yeah, and that's what a mobile quarterback can do for you, Mike, is he's able to get out of those sticky situations. You know, you see a lot of pocket passers that can only throw those strikes out of the pocket. This guy's mobile, can move around, make stuff happen with his feet, and that's the vulnerability that you get when you got a defense that can't stop a mobile quarterback.
Looks like a timeout called from the Burlington sideline. In 11.4 seconds, you're thinking maybe 2 plays. Just the way they run, even their pass plays is almost always a play fake, or maybe even 2.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's in their playbook when it comes to quick throws. Maybe a shot to the end zone. You got to think very limited chances here at the end of the half to try and extend this lead for Kennedy. Especially with a kicking game they don't necessarily trust. Can almost assure that they probably won't attempt a field goal. They've only attempted 2 all year long. Both of them missed.
Yeah, I think if I'm Kennedy right now, I'm going to take a shot in the corner of the end zone. Try to drop it up over the corner and drop it in that pocket where only your guy can get it. You know, you can try post route, post corner route would be good. Slant pattern across the middle.
Well, you have Fluhop on the close side, Koski in the slot, Harris in the slot, and Malley out wide to the right. White's going to drop back, go for Koski, and Koski's got it. Talk about a lethal combination of White and Koski, and it makes it 28-0, 15-yard touchdown pass to extend the Cougar lead.
Yeah, that's that post pattern I was telling you about. Just dropping it out there one-on-one. Make that corner play you honest.
4 touchdowns, only 2 names. It's White's 3rd of the day, 2 rushing, first one passing. Koski's 2nd touchdown of the game. That's his receiving. And he ran for 1 earlier. The lead is 28-0, only 7 seconds left in the half. We'll take a short break. Burlington will see what they can do with 7 seconds left on the clock. And never mind. I'm making our producer mad tonight. We're going to stay here. With just so little time left before halftime, we're going to keep it here.
Student section there looking all cozy and warm on this 80-degree night.
It's 80 degrees somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely somewhere down south. Had some co-workers tell me they just got back from Orlando. It's 92 degrees. They're swimming out in the water and everything.
It's just perfection.
I know. I was jealous.
7 seconds left, 28-point deficit for Burlington. However, they do get the ball to start the second half. So now that sports betting is legal, I am a betting man. I'm going to go ahead and bet they take a knee here.
Well,
not going to bet it very much. Not going to take all my money with it.
Well, bet another bag of popcorn and some hot chocolate.
The kick is squibbed once again. Picked up, and the returner surrenders himself at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, I think if I'm Burlington right now, I want to get my guys in to the locker room, get some things drawn up on the chalkboard. Not that they're not playing bad. I mean, my point is that it's not that they're playing bad. It's just simply that they just can't. They haven't found an answer for this offense.
Kennedy is number 5 team in the state for a reason. RPI rankings after week 8 has them ranked 5th, and the knee is taken, and time will expire in this first half. Kennedy leading Burlington 28-0, rolling into that first half. Now the question is, do your starters play the second half when you have so much of a lead?
Well, I think I'm very much under the impression that, I want to keep my guys fresh. If I played them there in the first half, I would not play them in the second half. I just think being a number 5 team in the state right now, we just got to keep them healthy.
15 minutes on the clock for halftime. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll come back with some analysis and highlights from the first half. Don't go away. You're watching live high school football right here on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3. Tonight's sponsor, Community First Credit Union. And a nice way to close our halftime performance here from the band. A nice little drumline performance there. 3 minutes back on the clock. The scoreboard here at Kingston Stadium allow the teams to have some warm-up time on this chilly October night here. 28-0's the lead for Kennedy. The Burlington Greyhounds will get the ball to start the second half and didn't have a whole lot of offensive progress in that first half. We saw some plays, especially that fake punt, but it's an extremely young team. Sophomore quarterback, sophomore and junior running backs, sophomore, junior wide receivers. It's about progress, and when you're building into next season, I know that's a long time away, but you just want to have things to show them next year about stuff that they can work on and be able to progress in. And while maybe this game is out of reach, you still have stuff to play for.
Yeah, you still do, and a lot of it has to do with the character of this football team. It's not necessarily – as much as you want it to be about wins and losses, this is also about building character of your football team. And, if they can come out and do some things right, and execute on some things that they need to get done, this team is going to grow. You got some sophomores out there right now that's going to be on the varsity level next year. You got some seniors going to be gone. And you got some freshmen maybe that could potentially come up at some point in time and play on that sophomore team. So there's a maturation process that takes place, and these guys are just going to get better and better.
For Kennedy, it's looking an awful lot like they will improve and close the regular season with an 8-1 record. That one loss came back on September 13th to West Des Moines Valley, who, if you didn't know, well, they're ranked number 1 in the state. So, man, Kennedy's got an impressive resume headed into the postseason. Their one and only loss is to the top team, and they had a second-half lead in that game.
Yep.
Reliving that with Coach White, it was just a handful of plays in that late third, early fourth quarter that they kind of let that slip away, but they know they can stick right there with some of the state's top teams, even in Class 4A.
Well, and that, again, that tells you what kind of football team you're dealing with. I think in any game, any sport, a lot of times it just does come down to a series of one or two plays. You don't execute. You don't get off the ball. You don't fire off the ball. You miss a tackle. A potential pass was too high. Special teams, fumble. Those kinds of things come back to haunt you, and I think that's what occurred in that first matchup with Kennedy. But they learned from it and they bounced back.
Well, they bounced back and then certainly had tough opponents even after that Valley game. The very next week they bounced back, beat a very tough Prairie team 35-28, handled Davenport West, handled Cedar Rapids Wash, and then it was the game of the week between Kennedy and Bettendorf right here at Kingston Stadium. I was at that game, not calling it, but just here for Friday Night Lights End Zone on KCRG, and that first half was about as ugly as you could play for the Kennedy offense.
Yeah.
They had 0 points, and I'm kind of making this up, but maybe 40, 50 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
Harrison Baybuie, the star running back for Bettendorf, was running all over them, 2 rushing touchdowns. I believe it was 16-0 at halftime.
Yep.
And then a man named Karon Hendred went out, came back in.
Yep.
Did his little Caron special juice drink or whatever he has at halftime, busts a 72-yarder, and then Koski busts a 55-yarder, and they end up beating an incredibly tough Bettendorf team that just rose the confidence level of this team an extraordinarily amount.
Well, Hendred is lightning in a bottle. You screw the cap off and you tip it back, and that he's gone. Kennedy comes out with a fake. Oh.
So the onside kick to start the second half. Again, we're 1 touchdown away from the running clock, so maybe that was the motive there. Get the ball, score, and then let's get the clock going here. But it is recovered from Burlington, who now is into Kennedy territory to start their first drive of the half at about the 50-yard line and an inch.
Well, it does one of two things. Either they kicked it this way to give.
They've been squibbing it all night anyways.
Yeah, well, and also maybe it's a sportsmanship kind of scenario as well. It could be it. If not, they wanted to work on some things that they may need to use sometime in the future.
Dengler, pistol formation, handoffs up the middle, brought down at the line of scrimmage. First to the line, guess who? It's Cade Parker. The run there was from fullback Mason Fort, one of just 2 seniors in the starting offensive lineup for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Cade's been all over the field tonight. I mean, what a tough young man.
Led the team with 61 tackles coming in. We don't keep those kind of statistics here, but, man, just the amount we've said his name, I got to imagine he's close to 70 now on the season. 2nd and 11. Again, Dengler the handoff, this time up the middle. Big hole, and it's a first down and more for Bryant Williams down to the Kennedy 32. Great blocking up front, and Williams with the top-end speed bursting through the hole. Nice bright spot there for the Greyhound offense.
Well, and that's what you need. And those are those short wins. Those are the small wins right there that if you're Burlington, you want to have. I mean, these guys have been fighting all game long, and they needed something like that maybe it sparks their offense.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the first time, the closest to the end zone that Burlington has been in, and this time they're going back the wrong direction. Sweep to Williams once more, this time to the left side, brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Looked like Nolan Jacobs was there to make the tackle for Kennedy. There's Jacobs on your screen there, headed to North Dakota State. FCS powerhouse where even if they weren't FBS, if they were in the FBS, I bet you still they got a winning record no matter what conference they're in. That program is legit.
And they're well coached. I mean, they got a lot of great players out of Iowa. We got Lance Dunn from Waterloo, went up there.
Great running back.
And this is
there's Parker again for the tackle, so nothing new there.
Prime recruiting grounds for North Dakota and South Dakota. Got a couple of South Dakota guys too, right?
Oh, yeah. Parker, Cade Parker, who just made the tackle there, headed to University of South Dakota. Again, the Missouri Valley Football Conference is, without question, the top conference in the FCS class of football. Now, I may be biased because I went to one of those schools, but I've seen some of those FBS schools play. I bet you the Missouri Valley is just as good as whatever bottom conference is in the FBS.
Well, I tell you, I mean, you think back, North Dakota State came in here to beat the University of Iowa team.
A ranked team as well.
I mean, so they're no shabby teams in that conference by any means. And obviously, UNI continues to compete very competitively every year as well. And they got a lot of talent on that football team as well.
So the big run from Bryant Williams just moments ago was followed by 3 runs that have resulted in a loss of 3. So it's 4th and 13. They have to get to the 22 for a first down. Here's the pass from Dengler. Nice catch there. And it looks like it will go for the first down. How about this? Carlo Martinez-Hale. What a night for him so far. We saw him have a huge tackle on defense in the second quarter. Had some punting issues, and then he recovered and punted the ball very well his next 2 times out, and then he goes out and makes a catch like that.
Yeah, nice.
Look at the replay there.
He was able to get it secured and get his hands underneath it.
Knowing exactly where he was on the field as well. I mean, they are right on that first down marker. They needed 13. They got about 14 and a half. Nice ball from Dengler as well, who's back in the gun. Handoff up the middle. And, again, this time it's going nowhere.
Yeah, that's that Cougar defense coming in there, swarming in there.
Had Knox, Sham Graham. They're up all in there. Javi Garrett's in there as well.
Second down and 13 for the Greyhounds.
13 yards to go. And one of the rare passes we've seen from the Burlington offense was just completed moments ago for 14. Dangler's been in the gun for most of the entire game, and this time Burlington will call timeout, and so will we. We're back in 1 minute. Cougars leading at 28-0. You're watching high school football live right here on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3. Back just in time. Pitch to the left, and Parker causes the fumble, and it's picked up. Here comes the scoop and score. Actually, wow. What about the closing spree there from Bryant Williams? I thought he was off to the races for the touchdown, but running back Bryant Williams making a touchdown-saving tackle.
Yeah.
Looked like the, let's take a look at the replay. The pitch to Trey King Jr. and who else but Cade Parker coming in, causing the fumble. And then it's scooped up there.
Gives Kennedy some great
by
field
Isaiah
position.
Malley.
Yeah, Isaiah. Great job there. Great field awareness as well. But you did, like I said, a great point, too, of seeing that closing speed.
I thought he was off. I saw him, as soon as I saw him recover the fumble cleanly,
Yep.
I thought he was down the sideline and off because Malley's got some speed, but, man, Brian Williams.
He can move. Yeah.
So 1st and 10 for Kennedy, already up 28. Koski finds a lot of open space on the middle, cuts to the sideline, down to the 20, down to the 10, cutting inside, one play, that's all he needs. Brantley Koski from 42 yards out.
Wow.
Another
Incredible.
touchdown.
Koski's having a huge night tonight. Really proving why he's one of the best in the conference, if not in the state.
Started up the middle. Again, great blocking from the offensive line up front. I got to say, up until those last 5 yards, I think, again, he went untouched.
Yeah.
34-0. And the kick for the running clock is up and good. 35-0. Kennedy in full control tonight as we'll go for another short break. Cougars ahead of the Greyhounds, 35-0. You're watching live high school football right here. KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3, brought to you by tonight's sponsor, Community First Credit Union. And this time, and for the first time all game long, the kick is booted away, and what a bounce that was. Looked like it was headed into the end zone, and the ball just sticks on the 2-yard line, forcing Trey King Jr. to try and return it, and he's brought down at the 5-yard line. Yeah. Everything going Kennedy's way tonight, up 35-0. And again, with such a young Burlington team, it's the stuff to work on. It's the details. You saw how what they are capable of on the 4th and long, and then it's a turnover. It's a fumble, which are just momentum killers.
And we saw that. I mean, how many times this, with up and coming and developing teams, they do a couple things very well, and then they find a way to kind of, not do some things so well. And that's been the. And I don't know if is that a safety?
That's really close, down at the 1.5-yard line. I was watching Parker the entire time. He was blocked, and he still got into the backfield that quickly.
Looks like they're going to put it. Yeah, it's on the 1 yard line, looks like. Yeah.
Just an incredible move there to kind of guess when the snap was coming, beat his guy off the line into the backfield, and he brought King Jr. down. Now the Greyhounds stuff behind the line, and with the way the defensive line and the linebackers have played for Kennedy, Burlington's in a tough spot. Kennedy's signaling a fumble, and instead the head referee is signaling a fumble recovered by Kennedy, and he's going to give him the first down at about the inch line. Kennedy wanted the defensive touchdown, obviously for pride's sake. It'll go down as a turnover.
Oh, wow. That's not what you want.
No, not on that part of the field.
Oh, my. Okay. We still haven't got an official call yet, have we?
I thought I saw, he's saying first down Kennedy.
Okay.
So he ruled it a fumble. I'm not exactly sure who brought it loose. I'm not sure if we have a replay or not. However, no matter the fact, the ball was loose. It was trying to run up the middle. see if we could take a look at exactly what happened here. The handoff looks clean. It looks like Williams slipped. And then it's Nolan Jacobs coming up with the fumble recovery, and everybody bunched into the backfield, and it's the easiest touchdown Max White will ever score in his life. 41-0.
Yeah, that's one right there. If you're Burlington, it's just too risky down there, and they gave up a big opportunity there to.
Especially when you struggle throwing the ball a little bit, and you don't maybe encourage throwing the ball from the one, but
no.
The way Kennedy's defense has been playing, especially against up the middle, they really had nothing to do there.
Yep.
The worst possible thing was obviously a fumble, and that fumble resulted in another touchdown. 42-0. We'll take another break. More third quarter action coming up. You're watching high school football right here on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3. Return now from Bryant Williams. Brings it out to the 17. The kickoff there again sent deep from William Waugh, where again we're going to credit the Kennedy defense for resulting in that last touchdown, obviously forcing the fumble, getting it down. But the kickoff is kind of what started that. It was the first time they kicked it off deep all game long, and the bounce that Liam got on his kick, that drive only started on the 3 or 4 line because of that kickoff. We were just talking at the break. I've never seen a kick like that before.
Yeah,
and it pinned him deep.
And then that Kennedy defense took over and got a big play and was able to put it right back on the, another 7 points on the board.
Offense, defense, and special teams all complementing each other tonight. As again, a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, this time brought down first from Isaac Scott. Number 11 for Kennedy making the tackle. And the clock continues to roll. 4:20 left here in the third quarter. And as I look down to the Kennedy sideline, I see senior Jonas Pingle taking snaps from center Sepe Gianforte, which would lead me to believe that Max White's day is done.
Yeah. I almost think you got to. I mean, it's just, like I said, there's still a lot of football left for this Kennedy team. And
there's a nice run up the middle after making a few cuts inside for Trey King Jr. Again, just there's a lot of flashes on this team. Once they put it together, they have the playmakers. King's only a junior. We've seen what Bryant Williams can do. He's only a sophomore. They got the sophomore quarterback. These kids are they're gonna remember how this season went.
Yep.
1-8 isn't gonna feel good, and that's only gonna ignite that fire inside of them for their junior and senior years to be that much better.
Well, and the off-season program has got to be on point as well. I mean, obviously, those kids will go and play basketball, run track in the spring, but summertime is so vital. Get in the weight room. Obviously, take care of their bodies, but more importantly, they have to begin to learn how to work together as a unit. And those are timing patterns with the receivers, the backs, things like that is going to be very important.
And it's 4th and 4 for Burlington, and make the wise decision here to punt this one away. It'll be Martinez Hale back to kick it away. Don't want to give Kennedy anything easy by going for it, not converting here, and then giving it to him on the 24. Let's see what Martinez Hale can do. Punts this one. It's fair caught at about midfield. Kennedy will start the drive on their own 48. I think it was Drew Bartles there, number 24. Did you see that defender leaping over there? It's a nice effort to try and block that kick. Didn't really eventually come close, but it's all about effort.
It's about effort, and he went airborne. And it's a lot of times what happens when you get off your feet. But, we earlier talked about this Burlington football team and really kind of where they can go. And up-and-coming program, young players, some talent here and there in spotty positions. Put that together, you got a pretty good formula.
So it is Pingle in the backfield for Kennedy taking snaps. He's now taken over for quarterback Max White. Jonas Pingle, the senior, 3 of 5 on the year passing. That's for a 60% completion percentage if you can't do quick math like myself. His passes went for 44 yards. He's also got 27 rushing yards so far on the season. I also don't see Koski. I also don't see Parker. So it looks like the second string offense is in, and they're doing about just as well as the first string. Here's Colton Hunish down to the 9-yard line.
Wow.
Gain of about 30.
Nice run there. Nice shake and bake there by number 23.
It's Colton Hunish, who came in with 97
Wow.
rushing yards on the season. He's now over 100. Beautiful run there, and again, just a huge hole at the line of scrimmage for him to burst through.
Well, I got to give the game ball, at least up to this point, to the offensive line. I mean, those guys are opening some creases, some holes, and typically I give it to the fullback. They get it every week from me, but this week it's the O-line.
Bouncing around to the outside and scoring from 10 yards away, Colton Hunish. 2 snaps, 2 scores. That's his second touchdown of the season, and the route continues. It's now 48-0.
Here's another look at it. Just an off-tackle play, man on man, hitting that hole, hitting that crease, knowing where that pylon is.
And that time, maybe it was arm tackles, but he still had to stay up.
Yeah.
You're talking about your 4th string running back here.
Yeah.
Behind Koski, behind Hendred, behind Parker. Hunish looks good himself.
Keeping those legs churning. Well, what I like about these backs is they're able to get in through the hole and find that crease on the outside. And when you do that, that allows that defense to have to chase you versus running back into the flow.
It's his second touchdown of the year. That's also his longest touchdown run of the year. The first one went from 8 yards. That one was from 10. And we'll take another short break here as the Cougars out in front, 49-0 over Burlington. Stay around. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2. With the running clock, we are about 45 seconds away from ending quarter number 3. Kennedy dominating in all facets of this game, 49-0. If you had looked on paper before this game, maybe you would have been able to assume that something similar to the events that we've seen here tonight would happen, but it's another thing to actually go out and do it.
Yeah.
Not overlooking your opponent to go into the playoffs, playing with 100% effort tonight. The Cougars have. It shows certainly on the scoreboard.
Well, and it also speaks well to the depth of your football team. I mean, like we talked about, they don't have some of their key players in the game at this juncture. But more importantly, if your 2s and 3s can come out and play just as well, you got a pretty good football team with depth.
Third quarter comes to an end. Fourth quarter coming up, the last quarter of the regular season for both Burlington and Kennan. Stick around. You're watching live high school football on Cozy 6.3 and KCRG 9.2. And we're back without missing anything. Running back Trey King Jr. gets the handoff on 2nd and 7. For a gain about a half yard, and that's the first play of the fourth quarter. Again, a running clock here at Kingston Stadium following the Max White, Brantley Koski show we've seen for the past hour and a half. Third and 5 for Burlington. Dangler, the back to either side, drops back to pass, looking for the completion, and it's caught by Ryan Bowman.
Yeah, nice pitch and catch out there just to the right side of the top of your screen. And I think that's what they should have done earlier in the game. I think that's a nice fundamental play there.
Yeah, Bowman, if I'm not mistaken, came in with One of the more receiving yards. Yeah, he was their leading receiver, and that's the first time we've said his name all game long. Came in with 19 on the season. And again, in such a run-heavy offense, they really haven't elected to even try the pass very much. We saw the completion on the fake punt, and then we saw the completion on that long 4th down. That was a rare pass design from the Greyhound offense that just came up short of the first down marker. And then after the punt, Kennedy will get the ball back, starting on their own 32-yard line. Most points Kennedy's put up this season so far is 64. That was against Davenport West on September 27th. They've put up 46 against Linn-Mar, so we've beat that tonight. They put up 42 against Wash. We beat that tonight as well. So the second most points all season long so far here tonight. We still have a full quarter. Yeah. Almost a full quarter.
Well, and you got a tremendous offense like this, and like I said, it goes back to that offensive line. Now they got some new fresh backs in there, some younger backs.
There's Hunish again, spinning off tacklers. Really, maybe it doesn't matter who's in that backfield because they all run the same way. It's incredibly hard, incredibly tough. Finding that first hole, getting into the second level of the defense, there was Hunish bouncing off a defender, goes for a gain of about 11.
Yeah, and Hunish, who's a senior, having an opportunity to play, having a big game so far.
Hoynish had an assistant coach come up to us, which we very much appreciate that because we absolutely want to give the kids the credit they deserve. Colton Hoynish has been the running back.
Yeah. Good-looking young man there, running tough, keeping those legs churning. But he's a senior, and he's going to have an opportunity at 5'6", 140 pounds to tote the rock tonight for the rest of the game.
It's second and about 12 after the tackle for loss on first down. Pingle under center, not a clean snap, and Pingle's brought down and sacked.
Yeah, that happens a lot of times when you get a new quarterback in the football game. The quarterback exchange back and forth gets a little jumbled, so they'll get that worked out.
Burlington was all over that one. You got to imagine how hungry the defense is to be able to make a play like that.
Yep.
Irregardless of the score, can burst into the backfield. Now brings up 3rd and 17. 7 minutes, 50 seconds left to go in this one. Pingle again under center. This time a clean snap, play fake, rolls out to his right. There's the completion. That's Jacob Vandersanden. Vandersanden crosses midfield, and he's still up.
Nice move.
Down to the 35, brought down to the 32-yard line. A first down and much, much more for Jacob Vandersanden.
Well, it's good. It's really good to see their sideline kind of come alive when some of these younger players get an opportunity to get in the football game. And it's all season long. Some of these guys have been on the sideline cheering for their teammates. Now they get a chance to get that in reverse. Is a pretty good feeling.
It's a nice play fake there from Pingle. This time it's a handoff. So Hoynish stopped at the line of scrimmage. Gain about 1.5. A lot of substitutions now offensively for Kennedy. Coach White really trying to get everybody he can into the ball game, and that was a goal coming in, to get some of these younger guys reps in this one.
Yep.
Whether it be for the playoffs, hey, you never know when somebody's going to get injured. You have to be ready, or whether it's just feeling confident going into next year when you can possibly be a starter. There is nothing that can replace actual game repetitions.
Yeah. And that's a great point, Mike, is you get some game experience. And like I said, I mean, these guys go out, they sweat, they run sprints in the weight room and everything else that the starters typically will do. And it's great to be able to see them come out and have some time, some clock in front of their friends and family as well.
It's now 3rd and 4. Ball's on the 27-yard line. Pingle with the snap. Hand off to the fullback. He's got a lot of room to run. Again, that's Vander Sanden, the junior. We saw him have a reception, and according to the stats I have in front of me, courtesy of Quick Stats, Vander Sanden had no receptions on the year. He did have a couple rushes. That would be his 5th rush this season. He had 16 yards, and that one went for maybe right about 16 as well. Having some nice flashes here late in the 4th quarter as Pingle now in the shotgun with Quentin Ellis next to him. Pingle takes it himself, heads to the left. Stiff arms a defender, brought down after gaining 2.
Yeah, nice run there. I mean, only picked up a couple yards, but again, it milked some of the time off the clock, obviously. I'd say any yardage that doesn't go in the opposite direction of where you're facing is a good thing.
Under 5 minutes to play here. 4th quarter, 49-0 Kennedy. They'll improve to 8-1 on the season. Pingle hands it off to Quentin Ellis, 5'9" junior. Ellis had 2 rushing attempts coming into this game. And he just had 2 in 3 plays.
Yeah, a lot of these players for Burlington have been on both sides of the football all night long, and fatigue starts to set in. You're deflated because you're not in the football game in terms of score-wise. And
Pingle, a designed run to the left, cuts back inside. Somehow manages to hang on to that ball. I thought maybe he was going to come loose. He kind of spun off and then got hit right in the back. Down to the 1.5-yard line. Not quite enough for a first down, I don't believe. It'll be 4th and inches. This is a nice run from Pingle down to the sideline, and then he cuts back inside, a move we've seen quite a few times today, whether it be from White or Koski, and now we know the backup quarterback can continue to do the same kind of thing.
Yep.
4th and 1, ball on the 2. Pingle directly under center. The handoff. Tackled into the end zone, I believe. The referees say touchdown, and it is Quentin Ellis. The first touchdown of the year from 2 yards out.
Nice run there by Quentin. He's a junior, 5'9", 5'9". Looks like he's about 160 pounds. So he used every bit of that 160 pounds to pound himself in for his first touchdown.
And it's just that fall forward mentality. He got brought up right at the line of scrimmage from the defense, kind of spun off and tackled into the end zone. And it is now 56-0 with 3:20 left in the ball game. We'll take another quick break. You're watching live high school football on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV, channel 6.3, from our featured sponsor, Community First Credit Union. The kickoff return is brought to the 20-yard line for Burlington, who will take over down by 56. It's just been an offensive explosion for Kennedy.
It really has. I mean, it's really executed in every facet of the game tonight. I mean, from special teams, creativity there with a couple squid kicks, and then all of a sudden they kick it long, catch Burlington off guard, get the ball on their end of the field, make a fumble recovery in for a touchdown. That was a big run.
Dangler hands it off to King Jr. 5'10", 180 junior. again, unlike Kennedy, and it's not, I don't mean to knock the offensive line for Burlington, but the Kennedy running backs, they bust through that first hole. They get you get to see those elusive moves once you're into that second and third level. These running backs for Burlington, between whether it's Trey King or Bryant Williams, they've shown they have those moves. It's just they're struggling to get into that second level of the defense, and that's a lot of credit to Kennedy's defense as well. No matter how good your offensive line plays, Kennedy's defense just swarms to the ball, and the three-man front and their linebackers, it's tough for any running back.
Yeah, it is. And we just saw it on this play. Even getting out on the perimeter, their linebackers are running sideline to sideline, and they're getting there so fast. And a lot of it has to do with the inexperienced line play of Burlington right now. They're not able to get a body on body. You got guys that fast flying around, making tackles, and they've done a nice job of tackling as well. They're not arm tackling. They're bringing guys to the ground.
Have not seen many broke tackles at all from Burlington's offense, as again the hand up comes up the middle, will go for a first down. That's credit to Bryant Williams for a gain of about 15 yards. So we're just about a minute away from tying a bow on this one. Kennedy, coming into today, already had wrapped up the District 5 championship. That was thanks to their win last week at Davenport Central, winning that game 43-14. They had 3 goals this season. Win the Metro, and they did. So here's a run here from Williams again across midfield. They beat Wash, they beat Jeff, they beat Prairie, so you win the Metro. And they won all their district games, including this one, to go 5-0, and you win your district. That third and final goal was to win a state championship. This looked like a state championship caliber team to you tonight?
Yeah, I think so. They got a lot of talent. We haven't seen who they might be going up against in the first and second rounds and things like that. But from my perspective, they're well coached. They're balanced. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They recover well from the mistakes that they do make, and ultimately, they got some really talented, some of the best talent in the state at key positions. I say at the quarterback position, the running back position. We haven't seen them having to throw the football a whole lot either. So, and then on top of that, you got a stout defense where you got linebackers running sideline to sideline, making big plays, sure tackles. This is a team that I think can compete.
It says a lot about a team, I think, when almost everybody in the stadium knows you're going to run the ball. That's what Kennedy does. Yeah, I know White has about, I think it's 500 passing yards, maybe. 550 passing yards coming into this one, and he had a 19-yard touchdown pass to Koski. But when you're able to run the ball, even when it's expected, you don't care. You're saying, well, we're going to do better than you anyways, even if you know it's coming. That just shows so much confidence in your players for head coach Brian White, so much confidence in the system that offensive coordinator Kyle Knock has instilled in these guys. It started a couple of years ago running this kind of offense, and they just do it so well. And they're certainly hitting this stride. 56-0, and they're missing their best player.
Yeah.
Says it all.
Says it all. And that's the message right there, and we're down to.
That's final. The clock hits 0, 56-0. Kennedy has ended the regular season with an 8-1 record, a perfect 5-0 in district play. Burlington finishes their regular season 1-7, 0-5 in district play in their first season up a class and in a different conference, so they have a lot to work on going into next season, but certainly we saw some bright spots. But now the real season's just getting started if you're a Cougar.
Yeah, if you're a Cougar, you got to get back into that film room. You got now you're going to go up against some really tough talent. There's other teams out there that wouldn't have gotten there if they're not just as competitive as they are. So,
a success on almost every level. You get a win.
Yep.
You get your guys out early, and for the most part, at least to our knowledge up here, you went out injury-free, and that was probably the most important thing outside of coming away with a W tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And, you got some key players, and you got a chance to look at some of your young talent as well, and that's always good because that gives you some insights into what you got coming up in the future.
Let's take a look at some of the second half highlights here. This was that 4th and 12 play from Burlington. One of the rare times we saw them throw the ball from Dangler And it was just an incredible completion. And then it was followed up by this. You're going to see Cade Parker into your screen, and then the ball comes loose. Don't have the stats in front of me. Got to imagine Cade Parker probably had about a dozen tackles. There's the forced fumble. At least half of those were a tackle for loss.
Yep.
The entire defense doing incredible. And then it was the first play for the half for Kennedy. This is Brantley Koski from 42 yards out. Not even touched until he gets down to the 3, and they didn't even actually tackle him.
Yeah, and he still didn't, his knee still didn't touch the ground.
As you see the Cougars having a nice moment right in front of the student section with their log that says family. This family still has a ways to go to achieve their dream of getting to the Unidome and perhaps raising a different type of trophy, one that would eventually be stuck in a trophy case.
That's right.
Certainly possible for this team. All right, Lou, you had fun tonight. Hopefully you stayed warm.
I did. I got my glove warmers on, man, my hat and gloves. So
you're going to need to use them again tomorrow. Another one, big one. City High, Iowa City West, battle for the boot. That's coming up tomorrow right here on KCRG 9.2 to wrap up our regular season. And tonight we wrap up our Thursday night season. We thank you all for watching. For Lou Montgomery, I'm Mike O'Brien. You've been watching high school live football on KCRG 9.2, Cozy TV 6.3, brought to you by Community First Credit Union. Good night, everybody.